up, Wastelanders? Christopher here, Gaslands, NorCal. Thanks for joining me once again for another conversion video. Now this time, we're going to take into the air, doing something that, surprisingly enough, I haven't done before. A gyrocopter. I've always found them to be a little bit limited in what they can do. I mean, depending on your sponsor, you can really overload them and kind of make them OP, I guess, but it just hasn't been something I've really wanted to play or played at all. But I had somebody reach out to me via my Etsy page and said, hey, why not a gyrocopter? So that's what we're going to do. So I'm taking this Matchbox helicopter, and I think it's like a rescue helicopter. As you can see, the rotor blades are off, so we're going to have to get that fixed up. But size-wise, compared to a regular Hot Wheels, this is a Toyota Baja truck that I did. You can see it's probably about the right size for like a gyrocopter, because a helicopter would be larger than a regular vehicle and stuff. So I think this will work out. I've got a base for it. I've got a way to make it, look like it's hovering off the ground and everything. Got some pretty cool ideas for it. So that's what we're going to do this time. There's no like seat in there for a pilot, so I'm just going to stick one in there and kind of bash it together to make sure he looks like he's fitting in there. One of the things I don't really like about a gyrocopter is it's got no build slots, so you can't do a whole lot with it as far as weapons. And this has some great areas where you can put machine guns, but you can't put that on a gyrocopter. So we're just going to leave it empty, armless, disarmed, sad. But that's what we're going to do this time. But first things first, we got to get this baby apart, get her into the strip. Alright, so we're all primed up and ready to go. Not a whole lot to this piece as far as the die-cast portion of it is concerned. I guess it's, if you stretch it out, everything maybe about the size of a truck cab or something like that. So, shouldn't take too long. Like I said, we're going to be painting this up in the sky blue from Monument Hobbies Pro Acryl line. Maybe kind of like a camouflage if you're looking up so you can't really see it as well and shoot it, besides when it's throwing Molotov cocktails at you or something. So that's what we're going to do for the body of it. The runners and the chassis and the tail and everything else, just going to spray those up in silver. You get some rust and stuff going on there because it is the Wastelands after all. So let's get this thing painted up in the sky blue, and then we'll see what we need to do next. So let's blue it up. Alright, see? That didn't take too long at all. Added a little bit of, darker, just to give it kind of a camouflage, sky stuff. So, looks pretty cool. Next, we're going to go through and do some ag racks on it. Not a big model, so not going to take very long. Just splash them on there, wait a few seconds, and wipe it off. And then we're going to go on and work on the driver. Since he's going to be behind this kind of clouded glass, I'm not going to worry too much about all the fine detail stuff. But I am going to paint them all up, and I'll go through kind of the steps that I do when I'm painting these guys. It can be a little bit of a challenge just because they are so minuscule. So let's ag racks it, and then we'll start painting the Mini. On to the Mini. Now, as you can see, this little individual is very small. I mean, barely like first digit on my finger. So what I normally like to do with my minis, kind of regardless of size, is I'll start off with the primer. But for this one, since it's so small, I'm going to use the beige red as primer. And just cover the whole model in beige red. And then I'll go back and hit the areas like the jacket and the pants and the boots with different colors. For this one, the jacket and the boots, we're going to be using the Army Painter Speed Paint Hardened Leather. The jacket, or the pants rather, we're going to make a malignant green, and then we're going to give them an orange afro. And that should be good enough since it's going to be behind a clouded windshield. So let's get it going with the beige red, and then we'll wait for it to dry before we hit it with speed paint. So let's start on the Mini. Alright, driver's all finished up. The final steps on that I didn't get to video are I just did the orange on the hair, go over it with a little bit of the gnome oil. Once that's all dried and everything and set, just dry brush it a little bit. I just use ivory. You can use any kind of light color just to make the highlights and stuff come out. So next we can get everything all back together, get the driver in there. I had to cut a little notch on the inside of the plastic piece for so the driver will fit in there, because otherwise the mohawk would be too big and I don't want to cut off the legs or anything. So let's get the driver in there, we'll get the windshield back on, and then start getting the rest of the pieces on there. I got some decals I'm going to stick on there, and the rotor and everything. Got the base all set, ready to go. I did drill a hole in the bottom so we can fit it on the base, and it'll stand up on its own once it's in there. I'll get it in there. Let me get it all together first. I'll get it in there, and then it'll look awesome and take some glamour shots. So let's start getting it all back together. Alrighty, there we have it. One Matchbox rescue helicopter, repurposed, armed up, as it were, all ready to drop some carnage on the wastelands. I really enjoyed this, more than I actually expected it to. Even getting a little driver and everything in there. All in all, it turned out really well. It did a little bit of corrosion and rusting on there, just to make sure everybody knows it's in the wastelands. If you want to see kind of the comparison for the size, so here's the Gyrocopter. Here's a MFP build I recently did. You can see the vehicle's a little bit bigger. Here's a bus I did a little while back. So there's no real rules that talks about the size of gyrocopters that I could find, and no base or anything. So I just used a base that was about 2/3 the size of what a car base should be. And it looks pretty badass. If you ask me, I think it turned out really, really well. I certainly hope Robert liked this video. I hope he enjoys it. If you enjoyed the video, if you learned something, do me a favor, hit that like button. My goal is to do weekly videos, whether vehicle builds, terrain builds, battle reports, whatever. So if that's for you, hit the sub button below and get notified when new content drops. I do sell all my builds pretty inexpensively on my Etsy page, so if you want to pick something up, see what else I've done, you can even request a custom build. If you'd really like to show some love, head on over to my Patreon page and get signed up. Every bit helps keep the paint flowing, the printer printing, and the camera rolling. Until next time, keep your foot on the gas and your finger on the trigger. Gaslands NorCal, signing out.
Gyrocopter.